Now, we don't have time today, obviously, to go into all of the triggers, but I will tell you that I saw it around this room. So we're going to do one last lightning fast exercise because I want to show you in a team how you do it differently than the person next to you. So this is going to be super fast, 2 minutes. I want you to get together with the people next to you, 3 or 4 people, and I'm going to give you 2 minutes. I want you to build one of those everyday objects with what you have available to you. So you can expand on it a little bit. Ready? 2 minutes, go. Build it up on the table.
Paper dolls.
We're creating a water bottle, Jane. Can't you tell? And I've recreated my phone as well.
You're a tweaker, I can see it. You're like, let me just switch it here. All right, come on back. That was good. Oh my God, so good. Okay. Oh, nice. First of all, before I kind of debrief a little bit, just take a second and look around the room at all the different solutions. And also, if you want to send a picture to your family and coworkers of why it's so important that you take time out of the office to do very important things, send them a picture of whatever you created. But this is so good. There are so many different solutions around the room. But did you notice what happened as you came together? Did you notice how all of you approached the problem a little bit differently, in a little bit of a different way? And I could see it, right? So I could see you collaboratives in the room, by the way. Oh, by the way, I just have to say, because there's something going on over here I have to address. This group has tweakers in it. And the reason I know that is because you are brilliant in innovation because you're always editing and evolving and shifting. So while the rest of us are done and we're like, the exercise is over, if you're a tweaker, you're over there like, but I know I can just make one last shift to it, one last edit. But the reason for that is because you know that innovation, the best innovation, is usually just one tiny shift away. It's not always a big thing. You collaboratives, I saw you because you're like, all right, everybody, lean in. Let's all have a conversation here, right? It takes you 20 minutes to get down the hallway. That's actually great because you innovate by pulling disparate people and ideas and experiences together to create whole innovation. Innovation happens through diversity of thinking. And the one thing I want to share with you from one of my clients over in the hospitality business is we did an exercise where everybody was the same first and then everybody was different that came together to build some stuff. And the one thing I just want to share is if you ever feel like you're in a meeting and it's hard and you've got a group of people in the room, you're not alone. Sometimes leveraging and respecting and collaborating with people who come from a different perspective than you is not always easy. And that's okay. But as she showed us in her exercise when she did it, when we come together with birds of a feather, the ideas are average at best. In fact, they tend to die. But when we come together and innovate through diverse thinking, the ideas and the solutions that we come up with, the innovation, is incredibly powerful. So the other day, I had one of those days, do you know it? Where you wake up in the morning, you look at your phone, and you have one meeting, and you're like, oh, today's the day I'm getting it all done. I knew it. I got dressed with a spring in my step. I drove to work singing at the top of my lungs. I got into my office cheery with coffee. I was so excited. And I get in and I sit down in my office and everything changes. And suddenly, 3 of my employees are in there, 4 of my clients are calling, there's a technology breakdown that I have to address, and that day of productivity turns into a day of fires. And before I know it, it's 7 p.m. and I'm still at the office and I'm super frustrated and I gotta get home to make dinner and I gotta stop at the grocery store. Now, you don't know me, but if you ever see me at a grocery store, I love it. I could spend hours walking the aisles. I think it is like a place of discovery, but I don't have time. So I think to myself, okay, Tamara, you gotta get in, get out. Just get the basics. Chicken, eggs, vodka. And then I realize, I need a razor. And I find myself in front of this sea of razors. And I become totally overwhelmed. I mean, I don't know. Do I want 1 blade and a pivot head? Do I want 2 blades and a titanium-based steel? Do I need 3 blades and a moisture strip? I don't know. So after 10 minutes of just blankly staring there, I look at my stuff, I say goodbye to my vodka, and I walk my 2 hairy legs right out. And the next morning, much to the urging of pretty much everyone that knows me, I signed up for Dollar Shave Club. Now, I get a razor delivered to my doorstep every single day. Like, every day, every month. I don't need it that bad, jeez. Come on now. Give me some credit. That makes bathing suit season hard. Okay, so every month like clockwork. Why do I do this? Why did I do it? Because I didn't want to think that hard about a razor. It's a razor. And neither did the hundreds of thousands of other people that since signed up for Dollar Shave Club. So I had the opportunity of interviewing Mike Dubin, who's the founder of Dollar Shave Club. And I asked him, how did you come up with this idea? And he said, here's the thing, Tamara. He said, I was just listening to the conversations around me. Like, we were all so frustrated that it was so hard to buy a razor. And he thought, I can take the frustration out of it. But here's where it became an unlikely collaboration. He said, that market's already cluttered. I got to do it differently. So I brought in the idea of the subscription model. And as many of you may remember, in those days, like, razors were razors. You bought the razor, then you rebought the razor blade. Like, that's how the business worked. His unlikely collaboration led to a multi-billion-dollar business. In fact, he was bought out by Unilever for $4 billion in 2016. All because one guy followed a frustration, which we all have in work, and then said, how do I think about this differently?